Welcome to Katunkwit Chronicles. Today's episode is entitled Trapped in a Trio of Regret. And I'm here with Ashlyn Komorick. And Ashlyn, weren't those noises or the music, the waves, and the bubbles, weren't they synchronized nicely?
Yeah, you're really getting good at that.
Yeah, I'm looking for applause, praise of any kind.
I'm glad to be back after, a week of being the special effects person.
I know. We placed you in that role because you are special. But you had the most technological savvy among the group, given that our group was, well into the baby boomer age, except we did have one member of our group,
Mr. Corvalet.
Mr. Corvalet, who was much, much younger.
Who is a baby.
He is a baby. But all did a nice job last week. Did you find that was kind of an interesting experience, having that many people in the sweatbox and it was a one-take wonder.
And nobody passed out.
I know, and we're not spring chickens among the elder group.
There wasn't even much complaining, given how hot it was in here.
I know, and then it was remarkable that we did one take, so that was exciting. We like to do one take whenever possible to keep our engineering
I think the only time
minimum.
we didn't do one take was when you forgot to push the record button.
Oh, you have to remind me of that quite often. It's interesting, like every 15th to 20th episode you tell me about that. Well, it's been a sad week.
Only when it comes up.
It has been a sad week. Our corgi, Clouseau, died this week on Monday, July 14th.
Poor Clouseau.
And 14th.
He was a character.
Yeah, he was. Really great smile. A dog with a great smile. You know how many dogs smile, but he did. And I was there for euthanasia, which we had to do because of his advanced multiple things. And they gave him chocolate for the first. He never had chocolate, because unless it fell on the floor or something, it's not good for dogs. And it was a couple of Reese peanut butter cups, and he hasn't smiled in months because he's it's been in pain. And he looked up and smiled. Very funny. Very funny dog. I miss him. He lived to be 16 years and 255 days, or 16 years, 0.70, which I thought to be remarkable, which equals, in people years, 117. I mean...
doing the 7-to-1 calculation, is that
well,
what it is?
that's all the information I have.
Yeah.
What would you have a different calculation for corgis?
No, not for corgis, but I have heard people say that's, sort of a rough. Small dogs live longer.
Okay.
In general.
But not this breed.
Not that breed, no.
No, unless they're the queens.
Yeah, the queens, do they live
They
really
live
long?
a lot longer because they're...
Did they outlive the queen?
No, the queen's dogs were 18, 20, 21. It was remarkable how long they lived. So and they have 20 of them, and they're all taken care of.
Oh, so there's still corgis at the palace.
Absolutely, yeah. Those dogs were
well, I mean, there's a
doing well.
New king in town, and he may prefer
a different breed.
Yes.
Perhaps, but I don't think that they euthanized the healthy dogs.
No, but they could have given them out.
Okay, you want to say that they're all gone. I'm okay with that. I don't even care. But, we used to call him Kooky. His name was Clouseau, and we always joked that he only spoke pretend French. Mm-hmm. But we called him Kooky as a nickname, and Kookaburra, Kooks. So save a spot for me, Kook.
And was
I'll
he
be
named
up there before you know it.
After the Clouseau from the Pink Panther?
Certainement. Yes. Yes, he was. If he had a brother, he would be called Cato. So today's discussion about regret. Do you have some in your life that you want to express today?
I occasionally have regrets, but I try not to dwell on them. I got to let them go.
Can you talk about them?
I don't have one off the top of my head. They come to me periodically.
Certain things that I've said that have gone back and would like to retract, having
Oh,
said
yeah.
them, or joke I told, which, I may have told when I was 20.
Yeah, I mean, there's some stupid things that I regret, whether they're blunders like that or just choices I made. Nothing
Right.
comes to mind right now. Maybe I should have read the script before we came on the air.
Yeah, perhaps, but that would ruin everything. Well, there was a song that was sung by Frank Sinatra, My Way. It was all about not having regrets. But he had a few, right? And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll say it's clear. I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I traveled each and every highway, and more, much more than this. I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do and saw it through without exemption. I planned each charted course, each careful step along the byway, and more, much more than this. I did it my way. So he had a few regrets, but too few to mention. Now, he was a member of the Rat Pack.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get to be called the Rat Pack without doing some regretful things.
Is that why they were called the Rat Pack?
I don't know, but we would have to research that, and then we would break one of our rules.
Mm-hmm.
So if I look at the Rat Pack, I mean, it was Sinatra, Dean Martin, Robert Lawford, and then one of the Sergeant, who was the guy that was related to the Kennedys, and then Sammy Davis Jr.
Who was the guy that was related to the Kennedys?
It was one of them. Robert Lawford might be related to the Kennedys. So it was Sammy Davis. Joey Bishop was in there. Angie Dickinson, how'd she get in there? She wasn't a Rat Packer. Peter Lawford. Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin. So if there was some research done. So there you have those folks. And, there was a very talented bunch of people right there. However, they were out carousing and, they were doing some things that they shouldn't have been doing. Definitely some sexist stuff, I'm sure, and some other things. So some of the lines here, yes, there were times I'm sure you knew, so he was aware of this. When I bit off more than I could chew, and I think he's referring to some of these debaucheries. But through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up and spit it out. I faced it all, and I stood tall and did it my way. So the did it my way, he had no regret about, this is good. It's good to know that.
Yeah, you
got
to kind of let it go, and it's the way you lived your life, and hopefully if you do regret something, you won't repeat it.
That's the thing, yes. Not to repeat the things that
as long as you're growing.
You have to work through that, yeah. But you don't want to dwell on regret, right? That's what you're saying. Because that can bring you into a bad place mentally. And I think that that's so true. So if we look at the studio here, we have folks using the library, which is interesting. It's good. It's something different. It's just outside the door here.
Are they actually in the library?
Yes, they are.
Oh.
Yes, they come in and use the library, so that's very good.
So since we're already cheating, I did find out why they were called the Rat Pack.
Okay, well, the cheat. Tell us the cheat.
So they were given that name by Lauren Bacall after she saw her husband, Humphrey Bogart, and his friends returning from a night out looking disheveled and behaving like a, in quotes, goddamn rat pack.
Oh, so it was Bogart that got involved in the whole thing. Yes. Well, Lauren Bacall, perhaps we should close the door. So we're going to take a moment to close the door. And it goes on to say, I've loved, laughed, and cried. I've had my fill, my share of losing. And now as tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think I did it all that, and may I say, not in a shy way. Oh no, not me. I did it my way. And then the final chorus. For what is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he has not, and that's women too, to say the things he or she truly feels, and not the words of one who kneels. The record shows I took the blows and did it my way. Yes, it was my way. So what's the my way part of this whole thing? What is the Sinatra way?
Well, I mean, I just think if he's been saying his entire life is he lived it his own way.
True.
He wasn't. I mean, it's interesting. Like he says, he says the things he truly feels, which makes me think like now you're not allowed to say the things you truly feel.
Unless you're in a true, you cannot say what you truly feel if you're not the number one.
Yep. In any case, you can say what you truly feel, but there could possibly be repercussions, especially if you're on a college campus, right?
Or in a podcast booth. So if we're here...
Nobody's come for us yet.
So the regrets that, I think one of the qualities of someone that's creative like me and has this, I think I've said it before, it's both a curse and a great value is being able to concentrate as I do on my art, but at the risk of missing out on other things. So the ADHD part of my brain, right, is it works for me creatively, but then there's things that I forget or I'm distracted by. So there's and regret, perhaps not addressing some of that earlier. That would have been good for me, for sure, and others. So that might be the great regret. Mm-hmm. But not really. I mean, I've had I continue to have an interesting life that's only expanding in interest, I think. I hope everyone believes that, for those of you in Colorado.
Do you think that dogs are capable of regret, since we were talking about Clouseau?
That's an interesting thought. I would say just they only have one quality. It's just loving and loyalty.
Okay, but when a dog does something bad, they kind of, they get that thing where their ears are down mm-hmm. and they're like, uh-oh. Mm-hmm. Do you think there's regret, or they just know they're in trouble?
I think it's just reactionary and not, like, beyond. So I might react to something I do and feel that way, just as the dog might.
In the moment. But you're not regretting it
I might not regret it the next day.
Yeah, I don't think, and at least from my observations, I don't think the dog the next day is. I mean, but they do learn, so is regret involved in that? I guess not.
As my dog aged, there was he was very, very vigilant about making sure he did everything outside and even outside of our yard, unless he was in a certain part of our yard. He was very good about that.
Went to the neighbor you didn't like and did his business in their yard.
No, I always pick it up. Yeah, I walked around with the bag. Did the walk of shame, right? But that aside, I was aware, but he wouldn't do it in my yard, right, in the front yard or anything like that. But as time went on, it was like he didn't get to the bottom of the ramp that I built him, because that said, I think he regretted, like he would have a sense of regret, I guess, that he did that. Mm-hmm. Because his ears would go back. And I wouldn't say anything negative about it. I was just, putting the puppy pads on.
Yeah, but he remembered that wasn't where he was supposed to do it.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. And he was...
So maybe a very, like that sort of instantaneous regret, but not worrying about it later. Mm. It's gone after.
True. I think maybe perhaps like some of the apes, perhaps, some of the more intelligent apes, and of which I guess we're part of that group. They may have that some ability to express regret somehow. I don't know.
Someday when AI helps us communicate with the animals, we can get deeper into this.
Isn't it ironic that we have to use AI to communicate with animals? There's great irony in that.
Mm-hmm.
How's the Stu? Stu doing well? Stuart?
Yeah, he's doing well.
I saw him, recently with the last time I saw him, and he was very interested in the fiddle. He's fiddling quite a lot. And I was too.
2 or 3 nights a week, and sometimes he does the farmer's market.
Could he ever get down here on a Wednesday at some point and fiddle it up with us? We'd have a good time talking fiddle.
Maybe we have to get him to show up at your open mic.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about that at length later in the show. But we do have something happening in the next town over in the very near future. I'd like to have done it in Cotuncquit, but we haven't had that same interest. But the next time over, actually in Ireland, Jamestown, formerly Connecticut, we'll be hosting open mic night. It's entitled Wednesday Night Live at the Ganny, and it'll be once per month. Mm-hmm. We're excited about it, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And this, the first month will be September. We're going to have this, September 24th. So we hope you all show up for our opening inaugural open mic. Bring your talent, bring your enthusiasm for others. You should have 5 to 7 minutes to work your thing, and we should have a lot of fun. And I'm going to be the MC, one of the MCs, the 2 MCs, myself and another woman, and Jan, and she will be helping out as well. So we're going to have a lot of fun, and we'll talk more about that later. Just checking my shaking. I'm shaking a little bit. Perhaps I had some tea this morning. Make me shake. We've played this game before with the Limerick game, and I thought you really loved it. I didn't think you did, but the audience.
I love to make fun of it.
Audience members have contacted me through Cotuncquit Chronicles at gmail.com. That's CATUNQUITCHRONICLES at gmail.com. And they said, we do like the Limerick game.
Did they offer to write them for you?
No. I didn't. I went and did it myself. What was wrong with the way I've written them?
I don't know. Like when I listen to the Limerick
do your little
game.
thing and pull up a Limerick on your little magic.
No, when I listen to the Limerick thing on
screen over there.
NPR, and I can't remember what show it is on Sundays, like the answer is right there. Yours are much tougher.
Well, that's why I do it that way, because we don't want to replicate something that's already being done. Okay, so our first Limerick for our only audience member. So you and I will play against one another this time. And all points are worth 1 point. Jason Stickley owned a long broom. He'd sweep at the dairy, ma, till noon. When his shift was up, he'd steal a bottle of soda and go home, where he lived on his own. His nights were filled with revelry and debauchery. Sometimes he'd come home at 4 and then have to work at the bakery. But on this day, he staggered home, dressed only in his underwear and shoes. He couldn't figure out what happened last night and wondered
if he'd be in the morning news.
Oh, so, but on this day he staggered home, dressed only in his underwear and shoes. He couldn't figure out what happened last night and wondered if he'd be on the morning news.
That's all I can give you.
Right. All right.
I mean, you might wonder if you came home like that, what did I do last night? And is everybody going to be talking about it?
My answer? But on this day he staggered home, dressed only in his underwear and shoes. He couldn't figure out what happened last night and wondered if he'd ever get to snooze. So I think your answer was far better. You get the 1 point. Ashland Komoric is 1-0 over the great one, James Allen, who created these things. So, my goodness. I was once a happy man. My life was fulfilling, and I had a solid plan. Now I'm embroiled in controversy and protest. I feel that I am...
I have no idea.
That's not a good answer.
I've got nothing. Let me see. Let me think about it. Read it again.
I was once a happy man. My life was fulfilling, and I had a plan. Now I'm embroiled in controversy and protest. I feel that I am...
No longer the best. I don't know.
Okay, so no longer the best is the answer. Now I'm embroiled in controversy and protest. I feel that I'm no longer the best. So I'm going to come up with one. I was once a happy man. My life was fulfilling, and I had a plan. Now I'm embroiled in controversy and protest. I feel that I am living the life of POTUS.
POTUS came up to my mind, but I was like, I couldn't come up with how to work that in.
I get one for that one.
Yeah, yours is much better.
We're tied, 1-1. So you want to go back and do a second round on the first one? No, let's just move on. The bubbles. Have you been to the beach? Are you going to the beach today?
I am going to the beach after this podcast.
So you don't have to do the work part of your day this time.
I only work part-time in the summer, so I've already worked 2 full days, so I'm taking a day off.
I like the thought of that. So you're going right to the beach from here, or are you going to go to breakfast first? This is me.
I think I'm going right to the beach.
Oh, so that's not a really very good,
You want
offer.
me to have second breakfast?
Oh, you already ate breakfast. I did too.
Oh, so you were planning on second breakfast?
I was going to do like a coffee and one of those nice muffins or something, but it doesn't matter. Trying to stay out of Eva's hair. She now works remotely. Is it BS or is it not? So if we have you one for me?
I think you should go first.
Are you paying attention?
I
Yes, you are. While attending his first Boston Bruins media Q&A, newest member of the Boston Bruins, and I don't think I'll use his name, was asked what he felt were his greatest attributes, and he responded, "I can go hard down low." Is it BS or not?
It's true.
It is true. He was referring to how aggressive he was in the forward third, or maybe in the back third, I don't know which, but wherever he was, like how they get into the corners and they go down low, I guess. But it really was very sexual in his response.
Was,
yeah. So, do you have one?
Yes.
Are you looking it up?
No, of course not. All right. A person is more likely to catch a cold by shaking hands than by kissing someone. Is that BS or not?
BS.
No, it's true. And I wonder why it's true. Maybe because...
Because you have more snots on your hands?
Yeah, like there's more, like, I don't know. Maybe because if you're kissing, the like sort of, I don't know what's in your saliva, like some kind of acid or something that breaks things down, kills the germs. But if you've got germs all over your hand and you're touching your face and your nose and your eyes.
You just did it.
I was demonstrating.
So now you've distributed those. I get it. I was going to go that way, but I was going to be contrarian. I thought, well, kissing, I think is really overrated. You know.
It is kind of gross when you think about it.
It is. I think there's other places that are more sensual. So anyway, we can talk more about that another time. So
you have another one?
I do. So this is another sports-related one. While being interviewed, a pro golfer revealed the secret to his newfound putting stroke in the following statement. I was sitting on the toilet, and I had my shaft in my hands, and I brought my hands down my shaft a little bit more than I usually do, and I've had a much better experience with my putter ever since. It's allowed me to go low, get real low, each of the last 6 rounds.
I feel like there's a theme with your, is it bullshit or not? And this one I'm going to say is bullshit.
It is not bullshit. This is true. I heard it myself several years ago. However, every bit of that is just straight up statement. I'm not going to give you the name of the golfer.
So he was a bit of a comedian, I'm guessing.
No, I don't. I think he was just answering the question, very honestly. And this is exactly what happened. And he had such a remarkable round. I know who it is. I'm not going to tell you.
I don't want to shake this guy's hand if he plays with his golf tools while he's sitting on the toilet.
Oh, well, I'm not sure that he's shaking anyone's hand in this room right now. Or he would. I don't think.
I'm just saying in general, should we be bringing objects that we, his caddy has to touch that golf club.
Yeah, it does. Well, I think a lot of things that we bring into there's a lot of people that do a lot of phone stuff they call it crap chat, right? They're doing the crap chat.
Also bad.
Yeah. But alcohol rubs, you can rub the alcohol on it. Oh, here we go again. But I think that there's some merit in this, the honesty here, because he was really just reflecting, and he realized after he said it, and they brought it to his attention that it was, but it was already out. And this is true though. This is how he adjusted his stroke, and that's what they call it, a stroke. And then he was a lot more capable of getting it into the hole.
Who this is?
I would just say he's an Australian golfer.
I mean, like anybody could now take that quote and put it in Google and find out who it is.
Well, he also, he's married and everything. I'm sure he doesn't wish he hadn't never said it. So he has regrets, probably, and that's probably he has a few. They make mistakes all the time in things that they say. Particularly athletes, right? So they make the mistake of ostracizing themselves with millions of people by becoming political. Do you think that that's appropriate? I mean, on one side or the other.
Well,
obviously,
I mean, there are times when maybe you need to use your platform to make the world a better place.
I guess I only object when it's the wrong way.
Well, of course.
But then I don't know. They think it's right. So it's odd though that after all of it, and then it goes bad, right? And even goes bad for them financially and for other reasons. Certainly socially, they stick to it. They have the guts to stick by that. That's disgusting. Well, Eva's been listening to some of the podcasts,
Mm-hmm.
and she's concerned about her level of engagement in this whole thing, and how the the daily life of James Allen and Eva sometimes comes forward in some of the readings.
Mm-hmm.
And I was having a laugh at her concern, right? Because that's all about, writing fiction. It's fiction, right? It's not, but we have to work from something. Some part of our life has to come forward. So we talked about that. Oh, I had a visit with my friend Vinny, and who you know, and we talked, fishing stories forever, and we listened to one of the casts, Channel 78, which was one of the pieces that was the first piece in a series of 3, if you remember, about the fishing industry that he actually takes part in. And his smile, as we're doing some of the voices of some of the members, I was doing them.
This was when the New York.
The New Yorker
guys came
burner,
out, yeah.
burning the boats and all that stuff. So that was really fun to hang out with him and to get his reaction to all of that.
So was he intrigued enough to go and listen to the next 2 on his own?
Yeah, he's a little bit bereft of technological understanding. However,
He does have a cell phone.
he has a cell phone, and I showed him where to find this podcast. So we have a new audience, a member. So we have to pay for all this, as you always remember. And some of the businesses that have been coming on board lately, we just don't, we're finding those, we just don't have any repeat customers. So I don't know why that is, but we're not getting a lot of repeat business. So I'm going to look into that, and we'll have all our people that help us out with that sort of thing get involved. But we do have a new sponsor again. Jensen's Tree Forts is a locally owned business, owned jointly by Steve and Sandra Jensen of Oakmont Street, Cattunquit, Rhode Island. Where's Oakmont Street?
I don't know.
Just look on your map over there and determine where it is, please.
Oh, I think it's on the north end.
Oh, it is? Oh, is it up near where you are?
No, way in the north. The
Oh, okay. Oh, there's that big parcel of land out there.
tip. Yeah, a lot of trees.
Here we go. Right. Jensen's offers a locally sourced lumber for all of their tree fort construction projects. Sandra's family and the Gentrys have been on this island since before the town was incorporated. So we have some land, and we harvest the old growth trees, making room for younger trees, expansion, and in doing so, we get the finest hardwoods for your next addition to your backyard. If you don't have the trees necessary to build a tree fort, we'll transplant some of ours to your property. With Jensen's, we will even water the trees for 1 full year if we need to transplant a tree for you on your property. That's how committed Jensen's Tree Forts is to be assured you are satisfied. We mill all our lumber here on the island, and we only make tree forts here in Cattunquit. We do not accept contracts from off-island customers. Call us today.
Very exclusive.
Isn't that? I like this idea. I like that it's all locally sourced, that they're milling their own stuff, and then they come on site and they'll even plant trees. It's a win-win.
I wonder how large a tree they can transplant.
I do too. Well, there's a transplant scoop there. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it, but
They come down the highway
does
with
it still?
some real honkers.
But are they really big enough to hold a tree fort?
Oh, not the fort, just the tree. They only bringing the trees down.
No, I know, but then they make you a tree fort.
Yes.
Isn't that attached to the trees that they brought down?
Yes, after they're up and standing for a year, after they water them for a year, yeah.
Okay.
So they have to be solid. But most people have a few trees in their yard. And they don't nail into any of the trees any longer. It's all strapped, and they don't prevent the tree from growing.
Do you and Eva have a tree fort?
We did. Yeah, we did. Yeah, I built a huge tree fort. Had bunk beds in there and everything. I thought sometime Eva and I will have a couple of this and that's, and figured I'd have to have a place to go. But the kids loved it, so it was really fun. They had bureau in there, and the dog used to go up there and hang out, and he did jump off one time, and that hurt him. That might have ended his life at 117. Holly Golightly's Drag Queen and Drag King show, hosted by Holly, appearing as Ms. Golightly, and her drag show partner, King Rocket Shot, is to take your breath away this Sunday morning and into the early afternoon at the Cotuncquit Cafe. Show starts at 10 a.m. with free mimosas and Bloody Marys after a small cover charge of $20. Bring your $1 and $5 bills for tipping. It's a real hoot. The talent level is amazing, and no two shows are ever the same, says Cotuncquit Cafe owner Carm Montress, who has owned the cafe for 3 years. Walks are welcome, but sign up for a table online. Walk-ins are welcome. Google Drag in Cotuncquit for more information. Google Drag in Cotuncquit for more information. There's a few commas missing there.
I was thinking dragon, like, fire-breathing.
This the other drag. Cotuncquit Cafe owner says, join us this week for drag, and next week we host Chippendale Dancers, which will be sponsored by Lay's Potato Chips. I guess that's because of the chip and the Dale.
I get it.
Yeah. So what's a Dale? Oh, Dale is like a low spot, right? So Chips and a Low Spot Dancers will be sponsored by Lay's Potato Chips. Oh, that's next week. But this week, we've got the drag. What do you think of this? Exciting, huh?
Yeah.
I like it.
Sounds like fun.
A lot of talent in that group of folks. I guess some are not talented, but in this group that are coming here, I'm told they're very talented and have some pipes and some jokes, I'm sure. That's kind of fun. It'll be interesting to see what happens after the show at 1 o'clock. And I assume the drag folks will hang out for a while, have a drink or two. And the locals show up right around 1 for the game, typically. So that's interesting. They'll be watching the baseball game. And it'll give Cotuncquitonians a little more culture. You know what I mean? I think we need to broaden our perspective.
A little too insular.
We are insular. Yes. I mean, I think of, like, I'm running out of roads to ride my bicycle on now. I have to take my bicycle elsewhere. I've been doing a lot of biking. Mm-hmm. Doctor said I can do biking and swimming, so I've been doing both. I don't swim well, so I just do water aerobics.
Do you swim in the sea?
I put on a blue, like a, not a blue, but like a purple wig, and I go into the pool, do my water aerobics.
Why are you wearing a wig?
To protect my skull. No.
From the sun?
No. I was sort of a dig on old people, but now I'm an old person, right? And I have gray hair now coming in, but only in my ears.
But you didn't answer my question about whether you swim in the sea.
I did go in the sea recently. I went to the beach with my family, and I was in the sea. And I liked it because I was getting knocked around, and, it was a little jostling. However, I'm in pretty good condition now. I just did, my stretching and yoga this morning. And, I had been reluctant to do all that stuff because, didn't want to do any damage, right? However, I was fine. So
good.
Pretty good. I
That's
might go in the sea today too. Maybe in the pool. Green thumb gals remind you to check for aphids on all your indoor plants this time of year. Humid conditions and mold can build up and provide prime aphid breeding. So if you see some scaly-looking, snail-like, crusty creatures on the stems of your plants, get that plant outside, hose it down, and remove all the aphids from the stems where you can see them. Then treat it with some natural products. Your local grower will have the right product for you. Don't use harsh chemicals, says Green Thumb Gal, Jean Stilton. And I called Jean because I had the same situation on my Meyer lemon, which is prolifically growing lemons. I have lots of lemons on it. About the size of a little bigger than a walnut.
Mm-hmm.
But then these aphids showed up. I don't know if they're aphids or they're like little, they look like little small decker shells, on the plant.
Oh, those are scales.
Scales, yes. Yuck. So I removed as many by hand as I could, but I got stuck a lot because this Meyer lemon has a lot of spikes. But then I went and got the soap and water, and just spray it with soap and water, and I'm hopeful that works. I'll try anything.
Otherwise, you're going to have to try the Green Thumb. What are they actually? Is it a product?
I'm sure they have a product that has soap in it.
Yeah.
But I can do that myself. Cotunkwood Chronicles would like to make a shout-out to the next island over, Jamestown, and Jamestown's Narragansett Cafe for hosting Wednesday Night Live at the Guinea. An open mic night including singing, dancing, poetry readings, dramatic readings, sketch comedy, comedians, juggling, and more. Join us on Wednesday, September 24th from 8 to 10 p.m. or later. Hosted by me, James Allen, and Jamestowner, Jan Green, with artistic direction from Jane Gilgan. James comments on Wednesday night live at the Guinea. Oh, those are my notes. So I'm commenting on that. Wednesday night live at the Guinea is sponsored by Jamestown Cafe. Is it? No. Jamestown Narragansett Cafe, excuse me. Likely the Jamestown Philharmonic Library and the Rodeo Poets. So we have a legitimate show going on over there soon. So you'll get to meet me in the flesh, James Allen.
Oh, not till September 24th, though.
Not till September 24th, and thereafter, I think it's the third Wednesday of each month. This particular one happens to be the fourth Wednesday, but what we're doing is we're going to do the third Wednesday of the month to stay away from the holidays that come later in the month. So we are very intent upon doing this. We have the whole facility. Music will be off, the typical music that they have there, but we'll be providing entertainment. There's a full stage, which is exciting. We'll have mics and whatever else you need. I don't know much about that, but we're going to have that. And plenty of laughs, I presume, throughout. Because I'm
wait.
a very, very funny man. I was just thinking about that last statement. Not about the funny, but about the program. I would imagine maybe Stewart would come down and do a show.
He might play a song. I'm not sure he would do a show.
No. It's a 5-minute show.
5-minute show. Yeah, he might.
Yeah, that'd be a hoot. I know that Bailey Harbor, she's got to get in there and get something done. And then we had Dave. Remember Dave? He just came in and sang. He did poetry. That was fun. Maybe Emma will come down. So we have lots of people in lineup for that. And there'll be poetry, of course, but there'll be also dramatic readings, some sketches, hopeful music, some dancing perhaps. People want to dance. I'm not talking about just hanging out and dancing. I'm talking about going up and make a performance dance. So I think that's kind of exciting.
Yeah, as I said, I'm really looking forward to it.
Okay, don't say that again. All right, so then that's what she's telling me. So Eva suggested that this show need to be perhaps closer to an hour. Is there some reason that we would have to go to an hour? Because typically we go out 1 hour and 16 minutes.
Wait, she wants us to shorten it or lengthen it?
Shorten.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I do think an hour is probably, because people, a long show, it's hard for people to listen for that long. I suppose they could pause it and come back. Somewhere out there's some research on the sweet spot.
I'm sure we're going to find out what that is, and we'll have that worked out shortly. So the story today is entitled Trapped in a Trio of Regret. Isn't it interesting that we talked about regret for quite a bit of time? But I have 2 daughters, and both daughters are intuitive. One daughter particularly intuitive about people that are ill or people that are sick or people that are dying or people that have died. Sort of has a sixth sense for that. And I don't know what it comes from. I think it comes from awareness, hyper-awareness of other people, right? Ability to perceive lots of stimuli, perhaps.
Is this daughter number 1 or daughter number 2?
Well, they're both number 1 in my book.
I meant by age.
Age number 1.
Okay.
Born in 98. So that said, she has this sense, and it's proven. But there are others that have even a greater, like the Nostradamus kind of visions. And these are more like visions that are movie-like visions. So the character in this piece, Trapped in a Trio of Regret, is her name is Bali, Bali, and she's from Indonesia. However, she's lived her whole life here in the United States. I don't know what else I need to say about that. But I want you to understand, or at least accept for the next, 20 minutes, that this is possible. That people have this sense and ability. Do you believe it before I go on?
Yes. I don't need to, suspend disbelief.
Do you have it?
I have other powers.
What are your superpowers?
I can't reveal them.
I know one of them is never quit. You prove it by attending 49, or at least 40 or more episodes with me, and you have great stamina. So, Trapped in a Trio of Regret by James Allen. Bali was trapped in a trio of regret, having in the past not used her superpower to a more useful end. One of her 3 bosses at the law firm where she worked, Cranley, Dayton, and Stone, now was dead. Well, actually stone dead, given that Counselor Stephen Stone was deceased after experiencing a short period of extreme fright, resulting in a myocardial infarction, a heart attack, while witnessing an armed robbery at the local bank where he was depositing the firm's weekly percentages of the many slip-and-fall accident cases finalized that particular week. It had been a particularly good week, and Stephen Stone was feeling good about the haul, and even better about Mr. Anastasius Kaliensis, a local landscaper who requested of the judge that he receive the $2.2 million settlement in cash. The judge granted his request, given that Mr. Kaliensis was so grievously injured as a result of the Amila Insurance Company's negligence. The company did not make Mr. Kaliensis aware of their intention to demolish a wing of the old part of the insurance building on the same day that Mr. Kaliensis was working on the flower beds just beneath the building. Bali recalls Counselor Stone saying, "It's going to be a hell of a weekend," as he fanned a wad of $100 bills a small part of the entire sum of $700,000 in cash that the firm received, and he did it right in front of Bali's face, close enough for her to smell the fresh bills. Given Bali's superpower of intuition, foresight, prognostication, Bali knew what was in store for Counselor Stone when he would enter the bank in a few short minutes, as he would be traumatically shocked by the violent robbery before him, the threat of death at any minute, which would lead to his heart blowing up in his chest from the frightful and unexpected experience. She knew it all, yet she let him leave and go to the First Bank of Katunkwit on the corner of Katunkwit, Maine, and Howland Heights Street. Bali had seen this whole event play out in her mind 2 days prior, as she sat behind her desk cleaning up bogus witness statements that she was certain were fabricated by Mr. Stone and not recorded in the manner the court required. Bali thought Mr. Stone might have been mixed up in something nefarious, and she thought he may even be stealing cash payments from the other partners. She was afraid of losing her job over what would be perceived as a fantasy if she insisted he not make the deposit before he left. Stone had started something romantic in the workplace, something entirely inappropriate with Mary Balls, a very successful lawyer at the firm, despite her name. They tried to remain quiet about their love. She had risen through the ranks rather quickly, and many at the firm were aware of Counselor Stone's affection for her, as the two were often seen leaving for lunch, laughing together, and he even guided Mary through the door, patting her on the behind, at least twice that Bali could remember. She contemplated all this behind her desk. Additionally, Bali is entirely aware that Mary Ball's client list is curiously loaded with highly coached family members that she, of course, would recuse herself from representing at trial, as she was, of course, a relation of the complainant. Mary Balls always, and quite appropriately, to Bali's liking, referred her family-derived cases to Counselor Stephen Stone. Therefore, Bali was nearly certain that Mary Balls is on the short list to make partner at the firm and have her name and reputation placed prominently in the sign carved in granite along with Cranley, Dayton, and Stone. She wondered what would happen to Mary Balls after recent developments, as Counselor Stone will no longer be among the living partners. As Bali navigates the bread aisle at Katunkwit's Manic, Maine, while on her lunch hour, she checks carb counts and calories on each the bags of pre-processed breads. Bali reads the labels identifying a myriad of chemical concoctions to preserve bread so that it may last longer on the shelf. She couldn't help but think that she might have helped preserve Counselor Stone's life if she'd only told him of her dream, or of his clogged arteries, for that matter, leading to his heart. She leaves the bread aisle without choosing any of selections of bread and passes the free coffee counter. As she contemplates pouring herself a cup, she considers all the consequences. I could sure use a Java jolt to get me through the afternoon. She has always thought it to be unfair that the lunch hour, as Counselor Stone always referred to it when she'd exit at noon, is only a half hour for all the other members of the Cranley, Dayton, and Stone staff, except for the members of the firm with law degrees, who often took a 3-martini lunch and took clandestine visits to Sue Collier's BB and rooms for rent on Gray Green Avenue. Bali noted that there are 27 lawyers in addition to now the only 2 partners, Cranley and Dayton. She also reminded herself of the law degree she earned from Harvard University. In the meditative days that precedes the visions, Bali's mind builds picture upon picture in an almost MTV-like manner. Images set next to one another and appear haphazardly and at first jumbled and then as if organized by an internal editor in her head. Then the images leave the jumbled, unedited state, all suddenly having some common connection, and then the images pass before her eyes as if at a theater, a movie theater. The backs of her eyelids becoming the screen. It all has strange clarity and connection to real-life events that she's involved in during her daily life in Kedunkwit, a small island town nestled in mid-state Rhode Island in the center of Narragansett Bay. As she stands before the table containing her hot urns of coffee, she feels that she nearly elevates from the floor. Her head feels detached from her body as this new vision appears. It's more extensive than the others and more quickly organized. She first witnesses Mary Bowles at Mr. Stone's wake, at first shaking hands, and then even hugging Stephen Stone's wife, then bending down to touch the cheek of the 8-year-old daughter. Ooh, such bad form. Then it all switches quickly and becomes clear. She sees Cranley and Dayton before a white board, drawing lines to names. Mary Ball's name is crossed out, and a noose is poorly drawn around her neck, connecting to a hangman's gallows. The two men take turns drawing lines from one successful, long-standing lawyer's scribbled and barely legible name to another, until the board looks as if it were an abstract painting. A woman tugs at Bolly's arm and then at her shoulder. Miss, can you please move? I want to have some coffee. Before Bolly is completely separated from her dream, she sees Mary Bowles and then a pistol in two separate frames, as if edited from the film separately. Bolly shakes her head and snaps from her daydream. Oh, you want coffee? Oh, Bolly says. I can wait, the woman says sarcastically. I have been waiting for quite a while. Are you okay? She asks. Yeah, I'm good. Just tired, Bolly says. Well, have some coffee then. Pour yourself a cup. It's not hard to pour a cup of coffee. And it's free, so no difficult decisions to be made here at the free coffee station, she says sarcastically. I'm not tired, Bolly says as she walks to the deli area despite the fact that she's vegan. The woman shakes her head as she hurriedly pours coffee over and overfills her cup with cream. Bolly can hear her yell loudly just before her visions return. Every damn thing! Bolly doesn't turn and look back. She finds that place between here and there that she's more often finding herself exploring of late. Bolly sees a casket being lowered into a burial plot in Roland Cemetery in the north end of the island. The people gather at the site, passing by and tossing flowers. Some even drop a handful of soil. Mary Bowles is crying in line as she waits her turn to visit her former lover. Stone's widow stands feet away from the casket, which is 6 feet below. The shine from the finished cherry wood casket casts brilliantly sparkly bits of light across her black dress. When it's her turn, Mary Bowles approaches the lowered casket. She's crying uncontrollably. Her chest heaves. Not only her eyes are leaking, but her nose and her mouth seem as if they're working in conjunction to express her obvious massive grief. She glances at Mrs. Molly Stone, then to her colleagues, most still hanging at the gravesite concerned for Mary Bowles, for Mrs. Stone and her family, all knowing of Mary and Stephen Stone's dalliances and torrid love affair. And then Mary closes her eyes, lifts the pistol from her pocketbook, and presses the gun to her head. She pulls the trigger, sending her sprawling into the hole atop Counselor Stone's flower-strewn coffin. Her black dress is unceremoniously hiked up, Half of the right side of her head, along with her jaw and her ear, seem carelessly separate from her head, hanging by a bit of skin from the skull. Casket and carefully placed flowers are blood-stained. Bali weeps and can see herself crying in her vision, and then, as if having a nightmare, she awakens crying in front of the pastrami and the roast beef. She fully awakens quickly and lifts her head to see Max, the guy that she knows to be a good person. That usually works in the produce section. She kind of likes him. Max always retrieves the good fruit for her from the cooler that just arrived when he sees her shopping. Max knows what Bali likes. Bali, are you okay? Yes. No. Yeah. I guess. Just a nightmare in the daytime, I guess. Every day's a nightmare here at Manic Market, Max says. Max, I have to do something about this. I have some vegan cashew cheese. It's good. I mean, really good. You can't taste the difference. I'm snacking on it all day, Max offers in a hushed tone secretly. I'm leaving, Bali says. Take me with you, please. I hate this place, this station, this cutting machine. I keep thinking I'm going to cut off my fingers. Max laughs awkwardly as he finishes. Bali turns, abandons her empty basket, and walks towards Cotunkit Main Street, walking behind the white church to get to the treed and bumpy sidewalk to make her way back to work. She doesn't know how she'll be able to work this afternoon, knowing what she knows. She opens the heavy antique doors, noting the impractical nature of having huge, shiny brass lion heads handles and a massively thick door adorning a busy law office. She wanted to have a sit-down with Cranley and Dayton to tell them what she saw in her dream. Bali's workstation is closest to what was Stone's office, but she had been working exclusively for all three partners and has, since she was first hired 5 years prior, at a very substantial salary shortly after she graduated from Harvard Law School magna cum laude. She even took the bar exam and passed it on the first attempt, but never paid for the license to practice law, though she had a box full of offers. Law has never really been her thing, even now after 5 years in paralegal role. She successfully, yet reluctantly, studied law, just as her first-generation Indonesian Balinese mother insisted she study. Bali had a history of being manipulated by others, especially your mother, and she wonders what to do next, now that she knows. Bali is somewhat assured of her tomorrow's funeral will play out, or how it will play out, and that confidence in her other there, for her other there, her other place, that she's always remained slightly suspicious of, despite her many visions, accuracy, and detail. Cranley's been looking for you. You took an hour lunch. Betty Siemens, a woman twice Bali's age, maybe 60 years old, and a lifer at Cranley and Dayton, who'd been passed over for Bali's current role 5 years ago when Bali was hired, wags her finger at Bali while speaking. Bali waves her finger at Betty, pauses, and then says, "Thank you." Betty, who most of their staff call Biddy and sometimes Old Biddy, prances away from Bali's desk. Bali removes her tablet from her desktop and enters Cranley's office. She knocks and walks in simultaneously, just as she's done for her entire tenure at Cranley, Dayton, and Stone. It's her thing to be at times brazen with the owners, to let them know of her own intellect, her own self-worth. Each entrance she treated as if she were in a movie like Sunset Boulevard, as if she were playing Gloria Swanson's part, Norma Desmond. Cranley, startled, attempts to erase the name, Mary Balls, along with a hangman's noose as Bali arrives. But Bali sees what he's tried to erase and takes visual notes and locks them in her video library. Cranley oddly leaves the poorly drawn scaffold on the whiteboard surface in the corner. Bali, I didn't expect you, Cranley says as Dayton rises from his chair while sucking on an electronic cigarette and releasing mist above his head into the afternoon light, streaming from the antique stained glass windows that spray colored light to the vaulted ceiling of the old building. Betty said you needed me for something. The two men laugh and then check their laughter. We're all saddened by Stephen's death. He says this almost automatically, as if on cue. I'm not sure what we wanted from you, but we won't need anything now, Dayton says. Okay, but I have some. She hesitates. What is it, Bali? What's wrong? Dayton responds with sincere concern. The funeral is tomorrow, and Cranley interrupts abruptly. It's all arranged. You'll be in the limousine with us, some bankers, and the other members of the board. I wouldn't have it any other way, Bali. You do know that we care very deeply for you and for your welfare, Bali. Don't you? The entire firm is grieving, of course, but you were closer with Stephen than even me or Dayton. I didn't really like him sometimes, to be honest, but surely, among the staff members, you were closest to Stephen. I wasn't closest to Stephen. I'm honored to ride with you, but there's someone else closer to. Bali hesitates again. My goodness, poor dear. You're one jumbled mess. I won't have it any other way, Cranley states. Oh. I know what I called you in for. Cranley says. What we called you in for, Dayton corrects his partner. Dayton continues. Given that we will be promoting from within, and believe me, I mean us, we, whatever we don't want to do, we just don't want to do this, not because you aren't capable. I mean, you're completely capable of working as a lawyer, and not just because there's a slot. We think that you should move up from the lead executive paralegal to become a member of our team of lawyers here at Cranley and Dayton. He finally finishes. Dayton, you're a lawyer, for God's sake. That was the most circuitous manner in which to inform an employee of their potential promotion. You do accept the role, don't you, Bali? Cranley says. I don't know. Bali blurts out. It's more money, Dayton expresses himself through a haze of exhaust from his e-cigarette. The work will be more challenging for someone of your intellect. Don't think we haven't noticed your input on some of those cases over the past 5 years. You were brilliant on the Madison versus the U.S. government last fall. I can see you with an office next door to mine someday, Cranley says. I think that we ought to get this done right away. You've passed the bar examination in 2020 in Massachusetts. I can get the license pushed through the Rhode Island system in a matter of days from Judge Hannigan. He's on our board. What are the 5-year plus solicitors making Cran? Is it $280 to start? I think maybe. Dayton reveals $280,000. $280,000. Bali questions. $300 then, Cranley responds. I have to say, Bali stumbles. $350,000 then. We can pay Bali that much, Dayton, can't we? It'll piss off a few of the older lawyers, but it's doable. Is it doable, isn't it? Dayton nods his head. $350 done. Sold, Cranley says, while pouring bourbon in the bottom of 3 glasses and distributing them. Bolly reaches out and clutches the glass of bourbon in both hands, as if she's trying to garner warmth from it. I accept the position. I guess, I'll try it, Bolly says. Tries are for rugby, Bolly. You'll do it. You've been doing the job since you arrived. Now you just get paid properly, handsomely, I might add, and it'll be much more fun. Lunches will be more fun. You won't have to stare blankly at the pressed ham at the deli counter like you did today. Biddy, old Biddy, as you appropriately called her, told me you were in a total trance at the deli counter. You must have been thinking about the O'Neillville case or one of those other cases. That case made me stare into space too, man. Oh, Cranley says. No, not the O'Neillville case. I was thinking of Mr. Stone and his family when... Of course you're mourning. We're all dealing with this heartache in different ways. What I do is I block it out and I just jump back into work, Dayton says. When the deceased family members and all his friends see Mary Balls splayed out dead from a pistol shot to the head after she commits suicide at the cemetery, and she splayed out all over the finest cherrywood coffin, leaking blood from her head because she was in his secret lover for at least 5 years, then, Bolly expresses, What? Stone and Balls? What? Cranley says while drinking the last of the bourbon and immediately pouring another. Give me a refill, Cran. Make it a double, Dayton says. Is this true? Cranley asks. True. Everyone has known around here, except for you two, apparently, but that's not all I'm asking of you two. Mary Balls must ride in the limousine with you two. It'll be safer. You can console her and guide her. I think she might shoot herself tomorrow or something at the gravesite with a gun. She can have my spot in the limo, Bolly says. You're with us in the limo. It's all planned, but I guess I can tell Bill Feathersworth to stay home. His wife has dementia anyway. He won't mind. Cranley talks loudly while calling on his desk intercom and then re-clicks the button for service. But no one answers. Oh, Bolly. Oh, you're here. Oh, that's going to take some getting used to when you're in a different role now, won't it? What's this about a gun? There hasn't been any violence in Katunkwit in 40 years or more, Dayton questions. I saw it in a vision. I have visions of scenes, and then they happen, Bolly reveals. Visions of what? Cranley questions. Of Stephen Stone entering the bank, of the robbery attempt and the shooting, the clothes the robber wore, camo short-sleeve top with Desert Storm insignia on the lapel, the shoes he wore, painted black with a brushed combat boots, the tattoo on his arm of a cross and Jesus, but Jesus' head was, like it was a skull, Bolly reveals. Detailed dreams of that sort can be remembrances, that's all. You got all that from the internet, and you're recalling the details like a good witness, Dayton says. No, I didn't. They haven't caught the bank robber yet. Bolly closes her eyes, and a vision appears suddenly of a man in handcuffs being aggressively dumped into a police car. Check your iPhone. They just caught him, Bolly says. Dayton checks his iPhone. Oh, my God. I'm streaming it live now. How did you know? Camera's on him. Oh, yeah. Shoes, tattoo, bingo. Wow. Jacket, camo, desert storm, skull, and Jesus. Wow. How? Cranley asks. Visions, intuition, I don't know. I've always had this ability to see and feel things intensely, Bali answers. Tell us about tomorrow, Dayton asks. It's simple. She'll wait and blow her head off and land in the grave down in the hole with Mr. Stone, Bali answers. We can't have that. This can't get out. I mean, Molly Stone doesn't need this, and the kids, Cranley says. What about Mary Balls? Bali asks. Yeah, of course, she can ride in the limousine, Cranley flippantly. Her fucking head will be blown off. Suicide, Mr. Cranley. You realize that this is some heavy shit, don't you? Bali asks. This won't be good for the firm, Cranley says. The woman is going to kill herself. Don't you care about her? Bali asks emphatically. She's a philanderer. She's a sinner. She coveted thy neighbor's husband, Cranley says. What more, she's an adulterer. That'll work in the court of public opinion, Dayton says. Are you serious? She's suicidal over a man you were partners with in this firm, and you're worried about semantics? And by the way, the two people loved one another, given Mary's reaction to his death. And if she's an adulterer, as you stated, he had at least one body part involved in the adultery also, wouldn't you say? We'll deal with all this tomorrow. Do you have any preferences among the listed choices for partner? Perhaps you could circle one that you believe to be prepared to represent our firm, Cranley asks while pointing at the whiteboard and motioning to Bali. Bali retrieves the whiteboard eraser, removes the images of the poorly drawn scaffold from the board first. Then she removes her own name, that Cranley had placed among the 5-year lawyers' names beneath the prospects for partner. She erases the rest of the names that were in consideration and places her pick for partner in large letters, taking up much of the space on the board. In large letters, Mary Balls. And then Bali walks out, leaving her 5-year pen, her umbrella, and her favorite plant. Before leaving, she finds Mary Balls curled up in a ball, crying in her office on the couch. And Bali notifies her that she had just become a partner in the firm, Cranley, Dayton, and Balls. And that's the end. You always start with
So, do we think that that is going to solve Mary Balls's grief problem so she doesn't kill herself?
That is the question. It also, just riding in the limousine going to do it? I don't know.
Does give her something else to think about. It was interesting earlier when Bali was talking about the funeral. I lost track of, wait, is this the reality or is this what's in her mind?
Well, that was actually somewhat intentional, to try to get you there.
Yep.
And then take you out of it. And I think I took you out of it by saying, it was suggested that.
Well, when somebody's like, hey, are you okay?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, this wasn't actually happening.
So she's having these dreamlike experiences like quite often. And they're dictating how things are going to, how she can intervene or not.
And she's dealing with these two clueless men at the top of this firm.
Yeah. They got there because they were likely spoon-fed the bourbon, right? Whatever it might have been. And, they're not necessarily old, but it's not clear exactly how old they are, but they're old in the way they think and the way they act. Although Dayton takes a cigarette, that e-cigarette, which is sort of a newer thing. So I don't know actually how old they are. But the building's old. that has that antiquity about it. It's inappropriate antiquity, which plays into the imagery here that I'm trying to go for. That Mary Balls probably doesn't belong here any longer either, and neither does Bali.
No, she needs a new firm.
I don't think she needs law.
Well, if she could monetize her superpower, she wouldn't need it.
Well,
It's a little tough though, because people don't want to believe that stuff.
Well, did we suspend, at least for the duration of this piece, did we suspend animation or whatever? Not animation, but suspend belief.
Oh, I was all in.
You were all in.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Well, that's great. I'm happy that we had this discussion about that little story. Did you like it?
Yeah, I liked it.
All right. Good. Not jumping around, but you like it.
It's too hot in here to jump around.
Yeah, jump around, jump around, jump around. Jump up, jump around. And then jump in the water, which I'm going to do too. I might go down to the beach. I'll get my bicycle and jump in the ocean. Ashland, I've been dreaming of being locked in a closet with you, and the dream repeats quite often. Where's this stuff coming from? I haven't slept in months.
I have a similar dream, but it's a prison somewhere in the deep south where it's very hot and humid.
So I think we should go. Take off. Get to the beach. Take care. We'll see you on the other side. And goodbye to all in Catunquet and others out there in other parts of the world.